Hello, Jay.
Hello, how are you?
It's been a long time.
It has. My audio setup is having problems today, so I think people get a lot of feedback. I'll,
Oh, really?
I will probably just lurk in the background.
Okay. Well, audio is coming back from you pretty clean, so no worries on this end.
Thank you.
And hello from me.
Hi, Ned. Sure
Hi.
enough. And there is Andrew. Give it a few minutes for everyone to roll in. Well, I think we should be getting at least 2 or 3 more people. There's Jennifer.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everyone doing today? Not too shabby.
Halfway through the week,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a short week.
Not quite. Only certain organizations have observed Martin Luther King.
That is true. There we go. Now I got Alex. Are we expecting anyone else?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Hard to say. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
Since we're kind of doing all of this off the cuff and figuring out our routine, we can just go ahead and get started and others can roll in as they need. So if you don't already have it pulled up, the agenda is here. I dropped the link in.
I can't see who's in
chat.
this.
Let me know if anyone does not have access. I think everyone in the Emporous Google group should have read and edit access. So I'm going to go ahead and actually break this out and share screen. Hey, there's Sam. All right. So that should be showing up. So before we jump to agenda section, this right now is fashioned after the template that we used for the KubeVirt community. If we want to change our methods or the template or what have you, I'm all ears. So we can adjust as needed to reflect this community, of course. But this is a good way to at least have something to get started that was structured. Some of the links on this first page are possibly broken or incomplete, but we will improve that as we go. Obviously, recording, I don't have the recording playlist made yet for the YouTube channel, but I will be getting that up, and then that link will be working after this meeting. We keep a template at the top. So each meeting we'll just copy this template and then shift it so that we have an actual date in place. And we will just have a running record of past meetings here. They will also be mailed out as a copy to the mailing list. So there is a permanent record that is not changeable over time. Other than that, everyone should have the agenda pulled up, and we can go ahead and log attendance, which would be greatly appreciated for helping to understand the progress of the project over time. And of course, prior to and during the meeting, we are all welcome to add items to the agenda. For the sake of legibility and such, we're actually not going to use bullet points for this. So we're just going to delineate with comments for the attendees, if that's, or commas for attendees, if that's okay. If we end up with larger attendance, the bullet points for every single meeting would just make the scroll way too crazy. All right, sweet. Thank you. All right, so I know that there's several things flying around right now. So one possible item Sam mentioned to me a few minutes ago was social media account consolidation and making sure that we have a process for that. So that would make a great agenda item. Anything else that's flying around like that is a good idea. I know we have bugs and things for tracking. But if there are any conversations we can address for those different things, this is a great time and place to make sure that visibility and opportunity for discussion is convenient. So anything that might be a pull request or a bug that could benefit from some community conversation, you can see the template includes places for specifically calling those out. As we start having more public engagement, we will be scraping those weekly for just manual review to see if there's anything idle or really just anything that seems neglected that can either be responded and closed or assigned, just to make sure that the community feels like they of course are also getting attention from core maintainers and community leaders. That said, I think for the most part, everyone on right now for this first meeting knows each other, except some of you may see that we have Ned on today. He is our second public community contributor, and from the public community as the sole voice of the rest of the public community right this second, I just want to appreciate Ned for speaking up, jumping in, already getting some of the renaming work done on the website. So Ned, thank you. It's really awesome to have you. And I can't wait to see what all we get to build together.
Thanks, Kat. Excited to get working.
Cool. So I'm actually going to put you down as a new member. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself real quick, but you'd be welcome to.
Sure. Hi, I'm Ned. I've been doing some form of technology for like 22 years or something ridiculous like that. mostly on the infrastructure side. So I came up doing help desk, server admin, all that kind of jazz. Ended up in cloud somehow, as we all did. And these days, my main focus is creating educational materials. So I've got a YouTube channel. I create stuff for Pluralsight, and I have a podcast where we talk about cloud and operations type stuff. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. And actually came across this project because Kat was a guest on the Full Stack Journey podcast, and she mentioned the project, and I was like, "Ooh, this sounds like something that's brand new, very interesting, and I've been meaning to get involved in an open source project." So it was like a perfect fit at the right time.
I definitely have to agree. It seems like a perfect fit so far. So we're thrilled.
I'm absolutely happy that you're able to contribute to this engagement. Your contributions have already been amazing, and looking forward to seeing what we can build together.
Absolutely. Just in terms of like my skill set, I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer by trade. I do a lot of writing and technical writing, and I have some experience writing technical docs. I did a bunch for Solo.io about a year and a half ago. So that's where my niche really is. So if there's something that has to do with like rewriting Go code, that's not going to be me. But if you need help writing a tutorial or working on the website, which is what I've already been working on, that's really where I can come in handy.
It is a much needed talent and effort. So
I agree. I actually have a pull request I'm going to add to this list just because you said that. Because I
Sweet.
could use your eyes on it.
Let's do it. Love it.
Awesome. All right then. So I know the rest of us kind of know each other, but if anyone feels motivated to say hello, introduce themselves, it won't hurt. I'm sure Ned would like to know who else is on the call. And a lot of us will be probably common attendees of the meeting, so it wouldn't even hurt to have on record.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Alex Flom. I live in Colorado, so if anybody's near northern Colorado, hit me up. Yeah, I work at Red Hat, and watching Emporous over the past year go from a concept to where it's at now is just, it's incredible, and having you, Kat, and Ned join this effort is it's kind of almost overwhelming, because went from what Jennifer described as a DevOps fever dream at one point to code on paper. So thank you, and thank you, Kat, for just putting this call together.
I'll go real quick too.
Sweet.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Power. I live in Virginia with my husband and 4-year-old son. I've been working at Red Hat for about a year and a half, kind of with developing disconnected tooling for OpenShift. I really like Go, so I'll just put that out there. I like other languages too, but for the past year and a half, I've really been doing a lot of development with Go, and that is probably reflected in some of the repos. And I'm very excited for this project.
Sweet. I will totally resist the urge to make some kind of go Power Ranger Jennifer joke here, because I totally feel like it's called for, but it could be embarrassing. So this is my no comment. All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself actually real quick. My name is Kat Morgan. I have been involved in a few different community projects and community involvement, organization, and meeting leadership for the Pulumiverse, as well as Kubevert. And I am looking forward to seeing the Emporous community grow. Of course, it has been a wild ride already. And just getting started with some of the more public work is extremely energizing. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this year evolves. Now that we have an incredible code base to start from, powered by those amazing contributors that are on this call. So
I guess I'll go as well. Andy Block, Distinguished Architect at Red Hat. Been working in the cloud native space for a very, very long time, pre-Kubernetes. I am a contributor and maintainer of the Helm project. So doing a lot with the Kubernetes and being able to manage applications in Kubernetes. And I just love Emporous. So, and software supply chain. So that's what I focus on these days.
That mean me?
go for it, Jay.
I'm in product security at Red Hat, and my interest here was that ProdSec could greatly benefit from Emporous being a being able to store the security as information like SBOMs and whatnot. So
Cool.
That's me.
Testing. Can you hear me? I think so.
We can hear
Great.
you.
Awesome. I wasn't sure if that was working last time. Ignoring the jet, you can probably tell, or some of you can probably tell, I do live in Virginia Beach still. I've been with Red Hat for roughly almost 3 years. Started off consulting and kind of came over here to the engineering of things. Worked on with everyone here at the team with those here and now in Porus. It's been great, and I want to keep on having good times. I like to do things with infrastructure more than I do with anything else, but I do enjoy everything else that's going on. So nice to see familiar faces and new faces.
Sweet. All right. Thank you all for the formality of your introductions and bearing with me on that. It is nice to make sure that everybody at least has a basic intro to each other. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the agenda items, and I've taken the initiative to reorganize just a little bit. Hopefully that make the order of those things make sense. Alex, if you want to kind of speak to the community development and status item that you have here, just to kick us off.
Yeah, we've, as a team, I think that the perception was that we have a good idea potentially. We have code that is an implementation of that idea in some ways, and the next step was to prepare the GitHub organization and the overall project so that we could share that vision with with the world, and also prepare to receive collaboration, contribution, or participate in those things in the open source way. And so we put a lot of work, especially the last 2 weeks, into realizing those goals as far as developing a viable open source community. I just wanted to kind of convey the work that's been done, a flurry of pull requests across the Emporous organizations and other changes, and to also just say that you're going to see additional work being done as we continue to develop the Emporous' idea of governance, things like the privacy policy, just all of the artifacts you would expect to see in an open source project. We're going to continue seeing those over the next couple of weeks as we're further establishing this community.
Sweet. Any opportunity for Q&A is welcome on that one. All right. At any point, if I rush a topic and people want to circle back or want to pause moving on, feel free to speak up. Sam, I know you brought this one up in Kubernetes Slack, but I wanted to go ahead and drop it on the agenda. I put it under your name since you brought it up because I don't want to steal credit for things that you are doing. Do you want to speak to that and what we need to do?
Yeah, sorry. So the as far as I know, we already have a Twitter account and maybe like a LinkedIn page or anything, which I don't even think we have one of those. But I made a Mastodon account on a good community that allows for open source projects to also commute or post and have their set up things. So I think all that's needed for Twitter is a renaming, and then we just have the site link directly to 3 or 4 of those, which is going to be the Twitter, the Mastodon, the LinkedIn, if we have one, if we want to do ever kind of like long write-ups or cross-posting from our blog. And well, I can't think of any others other than those 3. That's kind of like the more professional-oriented ones, saving Twitter a bit, of course.
Okay. Do we have a bug for tracking that stuff or anything like that right now?
In our internal issues Red Hat, we have a few tickets associated with that, but we don't have anything external. Did you want me to make one?
Yeah, I think there's 2 options. We should probably have that kind of stuff tracked in the community GitHub repo, which I believe we need to actually rename from something else at the moment. I think Jennifer added me on something where I was going to respond with that. So we should probably get a bug open on that repo, and I can get a PR into the .github code base for making sure that that repo is named and permissioned correctly. I will follow up with you on that so that we can put that issue up. And then we can probably do kind of a list, consolidate the list of what we already have and add to the list of things we need to create to make sure that the namespace is not going to get bulldozed over by someone else on anything that we might be missing for social media. Because I know we have, like you said, the Twitter, we also have YouTube. I think I did a Twitch space. We don't necessarily have to have all of these active, but we need the accounts probably to hold the name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we should definitely have a public inventory of where those things are. And then we can promote the ones that we are going to maintain activity on in the website community page that I am working on right now. So I've specifically built a community page for including all of that information and promoting the community meeting and the Google group and all that stuff for the mailing list. So that'll be a good place to promote what we put together for the community repo.
I was going to go throw TikTok into the hat there too.
What was that, Alex?
What was that?
TikTok. I don't TikTok, but I've heard that that's becoming a place where people will consume technical content. So it might be relevant.
The challenge is there are organizations and folks that are unable to do anything with TikTok due to its ownership.
Yeah, I think we could potentially get into YouTube Shorts or something like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely up for YouTube versus TikTok.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's not really, we don't have any content that would really suit, or TikTok doesn't suit us, I guess is the better way to put it.
I make
But
a point of
Shorts.
not having any of my technology life on a couple different social media accounts because I want to be able to go somewhere and not think about computers for a minute. And that's one of them. All right.
Exactly.
But once in a while, I'll see something kind of nerdy pop up and I'll be like, no, the algorithm, it's figuring
Oh
me
yeah,
out.
the algorithm is just so powerful. I saw
All right.
something specifically related to what's it? I think there was a network engineer who, when she was going over the different types of Cisco protocols, it's like, how did I end up on this side of TikTok?
Yeah. It's like, no, oil and water, these things do not mix. All right. So definitely watch for that if anyone has social media presence for Emporous we need to consolidate, or has questions that they want us all to be aware of and organized on. We'll get that bug posted up. Okay, so let's see, we've got a couple things. I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of this document for tracking what's important to us on some of the website relaunch work, which obviously Ned has already done some really good stuff on, and we got to merge that. I saw a lot of that does come down to renaming stuff. I'm going to try and build out this community section because that community page is what I'm focused on first. So if anyone has things they want promoted on that, or has context from how other communities work that might be relevant to planning that, let me know. Drop comments in here. You're welcome to. The other thing that is going to be important for all of us to feel confident in putting effort in and moving forward on is going to be this Emporous navigation and docs design sheet. So the idea of this is to imagine the planning of the left side navigation for the documents page. So if we go to let me do, I think. I don't have it up right now. Okay. Or actually it might be. Nope. Okay. I don't have my current build up right now, but if we go to empress.io, which works and is super awesome, it'll be this documentation section here. And what this Empress navigation spreadsheet represents is just a fully expanded left side navigation pane. So without trying to be opinionated, I wanted to build this out with what would probably make sense as initial content. Some things could be planned for roadmap type stuff, like making sure we drop, even if it's just a simple blog post, drop a blog post anytime, UOR is in the spotlight publicly, whether it's on stage or in a Twitch live stream or something like that. That's just something I thought that might help the blog maintain some activity, as well as be a useful resource for people who actually want to see people talking about Emporous. Opinions welcome for that, but more immediately important is thinking about the content for documentation. So based on some of what was mentioned in the UR website and examples of other doc sites, this is kind of how I first imagined building it and organizing ideas. Concepts, I know that collections, attributes, and discovery are fundamental principles for making use of Empress. So I figure those are good to talk about if there are other things that belong here, or if any one of these are too high level and we need to break it out into two separate pieces. I definitely welcome getting advice on that. my practical hands-on knowledge for Emporous right now, as the current code base is, and as the code base will be for the next near-term development or release cycles, is probably out of date. I need to get hands-on and use it a little bit more again to know whether or not all of this is accurate. So I don't know, Jennifer, you might be like the big brain that I really need, that Ned and I both really need to make sure that we are teaching people how to use Emporous correctly and how to talk about it correctly. So this is a place that I would really appreciate your hands-on, since you have written most of the code and know kind of the soul of the product itself.
Yep, sure. Happy to get involved.
Cool. All right. That link is in the agenda notes, so feel free
Great.
to find it there and jump in at your leisure.
Yeah. Do you have any strong opinions around the order in which the high-level categories appear?
Yeah. So from previous doc site work that I've done, I like to put obviously higher level things first. So at least it's kind of like giving someone a summary in a book. It's like, hey, this is what you're going to read about, right? And then getting into the hands-on stuff pretty high up is important, just because people want to click on the doc site. They want to see a point and click copy paste method to do something useful for themselves. And without that, the amount of time people spend on doc sites goes down rapidly if that is not really high quality. So those are the two things that are really important right off the bat. But then if you do that copy paste method and there are any questions unanswered, which there will be for this, since it's such a new way of interacting with registries, the rest of this is going to end up being really important. One of the reasons I actually should have made sure I had my my local build of the site working is I can bring this up on next week's call, which would probably be better since we'll have less time used just by getting the ball rolling next week. But making sure that we start writing docs based on a template in the Emporous Go repo is going to be pretty important, so that we make sure that developers feel empowered to push their code and their docs on their code changes all in one repo, and feel like they own getting to make sure that their code is represented in docs. We can cover that probably next week.
Okay. How do you want feedback on this design? Do you want us to make
So
a sheet with ideas?
one thing that you can do is you can copy this sheet, and then to your heart's content, slice and dice it and say, hey, look, this is how I think it makes sense. You can add stuff, remove stuff, do whatever. I feel like this early on, that's a reasonable workflow, since I just pulled this out of my sleeve and I have no idea if it's valid. But it looks pretty and colorful, and it would at least get the ball rolling. And if I said stuff wrong, then we'd be sure to at least get some voices to fix the mess.
Okay. No, that sounds good.
One thing that'll be pretty big deal to getting a healthy community going is making sure we're transparent about what the roadmap looks like and what is already done or what needs to be redone and is correctly indicated. So Alex, I'm guessing you're probably going to be a key player in helping us get that going. I will be happy to show you how to start that page so that we can get it going. but that's going to be pretty important just to answering, how do I get involved? What can I work on? Things like that for developers that are joining the project or thinking about joining the project. And then, of course, community hygiene is going to include making sure we have adopted something like the CNCF code of conduct and such. So that's near-term work to do quickly. And again, of course, the community piece is what I'm working on right now.
I was just gonna follow up on what you said, Kat. I'm working on a blog post right now just to seed the roadmap, just to get something out there. And then I think the intent is that we would have a quarterly we use one of our community calls on a quarterly basis to establish the roadmap for the next quarter of planning. So the goal there is to seed the roadmap and the initial roadmap information into a blog post. And then just real quickly, we were informed today that because there's something at the bottom of the CNCF code of conduct that directs people to contact CNCF representatives, that we can't actually use that until we're unless we are.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't just copy paste it and until or unless we are a CNCF project, but it's a good template to work from.
So we currently have a link to that, which we'll have to undo and then actually copy and paste and then take that provision out of the bottom. But yeah,
that's what that community repo is going to be really good for facilitating and owning that, so that we have a good logical home for it. All right. And it looks like the last thing on the agenda, and apparently I need to investigate my Zoom stuff because we have 3 minutes left apparently on the plan of Zoom that I've got going right now. So Jennifer, you said you were going to throw this PR up.
Yep. So this is a kind of a technical document to get us all on the same page as far as like a high level technical solution for Emporous. And what I could use some feedback on is, one, does it communicate this effectively? And Ned, this is probably where you're going to come in and say, like, is some of this just sound crazy and make it so I don't understand what you're saying? And then, like, anyone who wants to give feedback from a technical side, Ned, you included, of course, yeah, happy for feedback. So I just want to put that out there to say this is a jumping off point. We're ready for feedback, and all feedback is welcome.
Awesome. This looks really good. I'm gonna have fun diving into that.
Yep, we even have a nice reference at the bottom, so we cited our sources.
You are amazing. That makes me so happy. Okay, cool. All right then. If there's no other conversation on that, definitely get your hands dirty if you're interested in making sure that the technical foundation of the docs are solid. I will be jumping into that. I know that for sure. And with 1 minute and 26 seconds remaining, any last comments or shout outs? All right then. Thank
just
you
to
all
you,
for
just to you, Kat.
Thank
Kat. Kat.
What?
Kat.
What?
Thank you. This is awesome. This is like a real thing. Thank you.
Well, it's
Start sending you Uber Eats.
it's the we'll call this the first attempt at doing a good job of the community meeting. Thank you all for attending and for participating, and obviously thank you for supporting the project. I'm going to call today's meeting a success. See you same time, same place next week.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Thanks, Kat.
There you go.
Thanks, Kat.
Bye.
See you, everyone.